January 28th. My mind is kind of everywhere at the moment. It's very difficult to try to figure out something to talk about when there's so much going on, especially today, with the whole announcement from the apparently Justice League team that came together, of senators that came together to bipartisan legislation, try to anyway, my brain's all over the place, and then trying to figure out where all that is gonna go, and asking questions about what was said today and what all of their rules entail, and or requirements that are needed before anybody gets citizenship, and who all is going to be able to do it, and then how much is that going to cost, especially for people who are financially, at the moment, are financially unstable. So I wrote them down on a 2 pieces of napkins. The things that I've been thinking about. So there's this, one of my friends just had a kid, and thinking about that, and then I read her Horton Hears a Who, which is a pretty good book. I actually cried when I read it recently, within the last week or two, when it's talking about when Horton is actually asking the people on the little speck, the Who's, to speak up so that to speak up so that they can be heard, so that they won't be boiled in that forgot what they call it, the something oil. But he's asking them, you know, everybody needs to speak up, every single person needs to speak up. And it just brought me back to everything else that has been going on with trying to get people to tell their stories, and trying to get people out there. And it's very hard to explain right now because like my head is jumping from all these other things too. But anyway, I'll try to go into more detail about that later. Okay, so this Justice League of senators, and then family, thinking about family, the close ones here, and how we agree and disagree, and then the distance one, California, Mexico, the stories of crossing the border that I've been hearing. Actually, I heard one this past weekend of how this dude crossed over 5 times, has crossed over 5 different times. How you can feel a connection to a complete stranger because you are in a somewhat similar situation as they are, or perhaps they have it a lot worse than you, and you're over here grepping and not knowing what to do when other people are completely really actually can't do anything about what's going on. And luego, yeah, the amount of excuses we make up for each situation, and I don't know, how like we say we're financially unstable, and when you see other people and where they're at, and you're like, man, not to say that you have it pretty good, but you're in a lot better place than they are, And so you really have no reason to be making up excuses and this and this and that and griping and I don't know. And then there's the kids that are having to actually, like, literally watch their parents being taken into custody, and how much that can take a toll on a kid. And sound effects brought to you by my phone, the laundry machine on the other side of this wall, my dog on the other side of this wall, and the person that just arrived came into the house. Pero the kids having to literally watch their parents, yeah. And then the other napkin, dice, oh, music and how it seems to put things into perspective, or like you're listening to a song and you never really paid attention to it until you actually like listen to the lyrics, and or it was just this moment where the lyrics completely made sense to you because you happen to be going through the same thing, or you happen to have some questions about something that was going on in life, and like the song just answered it for you, or provided some sort of pathway for you to try to follow. The financial instability, thinking how I was once a clean freak and now I can't seem to keep anything organized. My room is a mess, and yeah, I don't know what happened or where. I don't know. Oh, again, sound effects brought to you by the people living in this crazy people living in this house. Crazy people living in this house. Anyway, and then there's a whole trying to stay healthy and eating healthy and trying to maintain the endurance, and because for me, like, exercising is what kind of makes me forget about all these things for at least a little bit, and or try to put things into perspective. Yeah, this is yeah, I might have to hurry this up because this is about that time when we start getting crazy. Okay, trying to stay healthy, eat healthy, okay. Things that need to get done and people that need to be helped. And before you can even help those people, like trying to know what it is that you're doing or where you can work your way around to getting to those people, by educating yourself on it first, so that when it comes down to it, you are at 110 when you're trying to help these people. And then also pushing limits, and how far that goes into values that you've learned, and trying to maintain your values, but then really asking if you're breaking certain rules. If you stay within the rules, how far is that going to get you? How far is that going to get you if you always choose to play by the rules? But then how good it can be to play by the rules at the same time. So many contradictions. Okay, I'm trying to finish up because they are going to start out there. Okay. And then I think the last thing is, yeah, wondering how far you're willing to stay within those the boundaries of those rules, and how far you're willing to stray from the values you were taught, especially para nosotros los hispanos. Or back to the rules thing, how far you're willing to keep going even though people disagree with what you're doing, and wondering if so many people are telling you this, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it, I don't know, all these kinds of things. And so much on my mind. Maybe I can go into more detail with these later. Writing on napkins helps. Alright, sayonara, arrivederci, bon voyage, adios, hasta la vista. Bye bye.